Let me ask you something. What if, for your entire life, you've been learning the wrong way? Seriously. Today, we're going to open the instruction manual for your brain, the one you never got in school. I'm Eric, and welcome.
I want to tell you a quick story. Back in school, I honestly thought I was the perfect student. You know the type. Before a big exam, I'd be in the library for hours, just rereading the textbook, highlighting practically every other sentence with like 5 different colors, filling up entire notebooks. I was the poster child for hardworking. But my results? They were all over the place. It was so frustrating. It felt like I was just spinning my wheels, putting in all this effort, and getting absolutely nowhere.
And then it all clicked for me when I found the work of Barbara Oakley. I realized I wasn't putting in real effort. I was just a master of fake effort. Basically, I was performing all this ineffective repetition, just being busy to feel good about myself. And here's the big light bulb moment. Learning itself is a skill, and it's a skill that almost nobody ever taught us. So in this explainer, we're going to fix that. We're drawing from some brilliant work by authors like Barbara Oakley and Olaf Schwe.
So, it's time to upgrade your learning OS. Let's unlock your inner superlearner. And first up, we need to understand the fundamental blueprint of how your brain actually works.
Okay, so before we jump into any specific techniques, we have to get this one fundamental thing about our brains. Have you ever noticed how you can be stuck on a problem for hours, you give up, and then boom, the answer just pops into your head while you're taking a shower or out for a walk? Well, it turns out there's a real scientific reason for that.
So here's the key insight from all the research. Our brain operates in 2 totally different modes, focused and diffuse. And the secret to really effective learning is knowing how to switch between them. Think of your brain like a pinball machine.
When you're in focus mode, it's like the pinball machine's bumpers are packed super tightly together. Your thoughts, that's the pinball. They bounce around really fast and efficiently along pathways you already know. This is perfect for stuff you have some foundation in, right? Like solving a math problem where you already know the steps. The only downside? The path is really narrow. It's hard for that pinball to jump to a completely new part of the machine.
And then you've got diffuse mode. In this mode, the pinball bumpers are spread way far apart. Now your thoughts can travel these long distances, making these surprising connections between completely different ideas. This is your brain's big picture creative mode, and it kicks in when you're relaxed, walking, listening to music, even dozing off. This is where all those aha moments and creative breakthroughs actually come from.
So here's the deal. We need both modes to learn effectively. But how do we switch between them on purpose? Well, that's where the Pomodoro technique comes in. That 25 minutes of intense work, that's your focused mode session. But the real magic, and I mean the magic, is in that 5-minute break. That break isn't about being lazy. It's a strategic shift into diffuse mode. It allows your brain to process and lock in what you just learned. So the next time you think you need to study for hours straight, just don't. Try this instead. It is a complete game changer for building real knowledge, not just cramming stuff in.
Okay, so now we know how to switch modes, but what should we actually be doing during those 25 minutes of focused work? My old method of rereading and highlighting? Yeah, as we're about to see, that's pretty much one of the worst things you can do.
I'm just going to say it. Rereading and highlighting are 2 of the least effective ways to learn. Period. Why? Because they create something called an illusion of fluency. The more you read something, the more familiar it feels. But here's the catch. Familiarity is not the same as understanding. It doesn't mean you can actually recall or apply that info when it counts. So it's time to trade in these dull tools for some, let's call them, nuclear-powered weapons.
Weapon number 1 is active recall. It's incredibly simple, but man is it powerful. After you read a page or watch a part of a lecture, just close the book, look away from the screen, and now try to explain the main concepts out loud, in your own words. I'll tell you right now, it's going to feel hard. You'll stumble, you'll realize you can't explain things you thought you totally understood, and that's fantastic. That feeling of struggle, that's your brain physically building and strengthening neural pathways. It's so much more effective than just passively reading something 10 times over.
Okay, so if active recall is for remembering things, the Feynman technique is the ultimate test for truly understanding them. It works like this. You pick a concept and then you pretend to teach it to a total beginner. Like, imagine explaining it to a kid. This forces you to use really simple language and analogies, and in that process, you will immediately discover where your own understanding is fuzzy. Then you go back, fill in those gaps, and you try simplifying your explanation again. It's the ultimate proof that one of the best ways to learn something is to try and teach it.
And finally, let's talk about something called interleaving. So traditional practice, or blocking, is when you do one type of problem over and over again. You get good at it pretty fast, but that knowledge is fragile.
Interleaving, on the other hand, is when you mix up different but related problem types all in one session. Now, it's going to feel harder and slower at first, but all the research shows it leads to much better long-term retention. And why is that? Because it trains your brain not just to solve a problem, but to first identify what kind of problem it is in the first place. Think about a tennis player. Instead of just practicing forehands for an hour straight, they mix in forehands, backhands, and volleys. That's what trains them for a real match, and that's what you need to do for a real exam.
All right, so we've got the mental models and we've got the learning techniques. Now for the final piece of the puzzle. How do we actually perform when it really counts? Whether it's a final exam, a huge job interview, or a big presentation at work. Here's how you win on game day.
Now, this is going to sound completely wrong, I know. We're always told to start with the easy questions first. But just try this. It's called the hard start, jump to easy technique. When the clock starts, find the hardest-looking problem on the test. Spend just 1 or 2 minutes on it, not to solve it, just to get it loaded into your brain. Then jump to the easy problems you know you can knock out. What have you just done? You've given your diffuse mode a background task. So while your focus mode is cruising through the easy stuff, your diffuse mode is working on that monster problem in the background. When you come back to it later, you might be shocked to find you suddenly have a new idea of how to solve it. And what about that feeling of panic? The racing heart, the sweaty palms? We all know it. Well, here's a really simple mental trick. Just relabel it. Physiologically, the symptoms of anxiety and excitement are almost identical. The only real difference is the story you tell yourself about it. So, instead of thinking, oh no, I'm panicking, just tell yourself, yes, my body is getting energized for this challenge. You're literally turning a potential enemy into a powerful ally.
And finally, the most underrated performance enhancer of all time, sleep. During the day, your brain builds up all this metabolic junk. Sleep is when your brain's janitors come in and clear all that stuff out. And more importantly, it's when your brain consolidates your memories, transferring what you just learned from short-term to long-term storage. Pulling an all-nighter before an exam is like writing a brilliant essay and then just never hitting the save button. Seriously, it's the worst thing you can do. A well-rested brain is always more powerful than a tired brain that's just been crammed with facts.
So, let's bring this all together. We've covered a lot of ground, but what this really is a complete system upgrade for how you approach learning.
So here it is, the summary of your new operating system. You now get the power of switching between focused and diffuse modes. You're ready to ditch passive rereading and use powerful tools like active recall and the Feynman technique instead. You'll build flexible, strong knowledge with interleaving, you'll perform under pressure with smart strategies, and you'll finally respect sleep as the critical final step in learning. The most important thing to remember from all of this is that being a good learner isn't some gift you're born with. It's a skill you can build, and these are the proven tools to build it.
So now you have the tools. You've got the manual that you should have gotten on day 1 of school. The only question left is, what are you going to apply it to? What difficult, exciting new skill will you choose to master? Hey, if this explainer gave your own learning OS a bit of an upgrade, do me a favor and help someone else upgrade theirs by hitting those like, subscribe, and share buttons. It really is the best way to help us get these ideas out to more people.
And now I want to hear from you. What book or big idea should we break down next? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'm Eric, and we'll see you in the next one.